Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fueling Creativity in Education podcast. And this is our third episode of our winter 2023 Listen and Learn series, where Cyndi and I produce a collection of short episodes, super duper short episodes, to support professional learning.
This Listen and Learn series is dedicated to generative AI and its future use in creativity in education. And like our 2023 summer Listen and Learn series, these episodes will provide one key takeaway that our listeners can use as they bring creativity into the classroom.
So let's begin.
So our theme for this week is enhancing our creative process. So Matt, do you have a clip for us?
I do. And this clip comes from, I've forgotten when we recorded it. I think it was maybe December 2022. And it's with Dr. David Cropley. And David Cropley is, in fact, David Cropley's putting some really great LinkedIn posts at the moment. So I would encourage anyone who's interested in generative AI, creativity, definitely follow Dr. David Cropley. And we had him on the show, and he said this really fascinating thing. Again, it was before the release of ChatGPT. But this quote was kind of like, we was asking, well, hey, what's the future of creativity? And this was his response.
I think the first thing is probably for people to understand this issue of what is it that we do, what is it that we bring to the table, so to speak, in work, and then what is it that robots, AI, and so on bring to the table. So we kind of have to understand each other's strengths in order to understand how AI and humans can work together. And I think, my view is that robots, AI, will never be creative in the sense that we're talking about, but that the likely future is some sort of blend where human beings, for example, define the problems that need to be solved, but when it gets to the idea generation and evaluation, that is much more of a collaborative exercise where we bring certain things to the picture, but that AI can support that. But then again, right at the end, when we've got a solution and we're testing or validating that solution, that's essentially the domain of humans. So we decide what the problem is. We work together with AI to generate the solutions, but then only humans can tell you if they're satisfied with the solution. So it'll be this kind of blend of activity in the different stages of creative problem solving. But the key to me is we need to understand what it is that we're good at and what it is that AI, robots, and so on are good at.
So Matt, what did you think?
Well, I think the big thing there is, and it's exactly what we're doing. I do want to highlight again, this was before ChatGPT came out, but and it wasn't the first generative AI platform, but everyone's been playing around with ChatGPT, and it really is, a lot of it is just figuring out what is it that it can do, and I think, how might it assist me in my process? And I think for me, that's very much what David Cropley is talking about, and I think it's something that we all should do, as we kind of referenced in our first episode of the Listen and Learn series. Start small, but start exploring how you might be able to integrate this into your classroom environment and therefore part of your creative process.
Yeah, and I think that word enhancing our creative process is really where the sweet spot is, because I know for myself, I enjoy writing. And when I'm writing, if I get stuck, I will use generative AI to help me think through the next stages. So it's like having a really good writing coach to say, hey, do you want to talk about this or do you want to talk about this? I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this. All right, let's go in that direction. So I think looking at what David said about finding your strengths and then really maximizing on those strengths with generative AI is where we should be looking at in terms of nurturing that creative potential.
Yeah, and just talking about the concept of creative potential and really trying to individualize it, I think what's really important, you had referenced how you utilize it in a particular context that's relevant to a need that you have. You have a block. I've heard other people say that they've used something like ChatGPT, for example, to actually provide them feedback on their existing work. So how might they enhance it or improve it, or where is it weaker? And so, I've been listening to all these different uses that people are discovering, but they seem very personalized. And I think there's something special about that. There's lots of conversations around the future of chatbots and the idea of everyone having their own personalized chatbot.
Mhm.
And, to a certain extent, with some of the most recent updates with ChatGPT, we're all kind of like being tasked to kind of like find out, what type of chatbot do we want to assist us. And so I think this is a
Mhm.
great tip to start thinking, to begin that process, is starting to think about, how might I use a generative AI tool? It doesn't have to be ChatGPT, to enhance an aspect of my creative process.
Love it, Matt. So, as we wrap up, we want to make sure that we give our listeners the letter for today's episode. So, are you ready, Matt? I'm going to let you give the letter today.
Yes. All right. So just before I give the letter, I'm going to kind of like remind everyone, we're giving a letter at the end of every single one of our listen and learn episodes. And once you've got all of the letters, they're going to give they form a code word, and you're going to grab that code word and you're going to email Cyndi and I before the end of January 2023 with that code word, and then a 1 or 2 sentence summary of what you've taken away from this listen and learn series. And the letter for that episode is, drum roll. It is C.
Cyndi,
Cyndi, yes. Cat.
Candy,
Caterpillar.
Courageous,
Colleague.
Capital.
Did you say courageous?
I did.
Okay, let's end it there. I've run out of it. Small vocabulary. My name's Dr. Matthew Worwood.
And my name is Dr. Cyndi Burnett.